Hard sports all plays. Hard sports all plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics never the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. Hard sports all plays. Network. Hard sports all plays. Network. We on top of our game. Hard sports all plays. Hard sports all plays.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to ASAP Network. My name is Will. Alongside with me today is Landon. We got Landon with us today, as well as Mr. Mess Around Dave. Fellas, how we doing this morning?
Pretty good.
Good. We got to get into our Week 17 predictions and talk about our games today. But first, before we do that, let's knock out the little bit of house cleaning. Landon, we know that you can win the Viewer of the Month T-shirt. We actually just announced our winner for December last night on Sports Minute. If they want to be the Viewer of the Month for January, how do they go about that?
It's a brand new month, so we're starting clean. If you're in the comment section of our streams, if you share, like our streams, and follow our page, you're entered to win your very own ASAP Network T-shirt. There it is, right there. It's easy. You just got to comment, be on our shows, share our shows, in our page as well, and you could be entered to win. At the end of the month, we'll tally them up, and you could have a chance to win your very own shirt.
Don't forget, if you missed the show or anything like that, you can go ahead, contact one of us. You could go ahead, get your very own ASAP Network T-shirt. You want to reach out to anybody from this show or anybody on the network, be $14.99 plus shipping and handling, and we'll get you your very own ASAP Network T-shirt ASAP. So we got a lot of games on the doors. Let's go ahead and let's talk about them. Nate, go ahead, bring up the slides for us, and we'll get jumping right into a first game on the record. Let's see what all we're dealing with today. You got it, Nate. All right. Sunday morning pregame. Let's do it. Let's get that presentation mode. Now we're thinking. All right. So we're going to start off with the 6-9 Minnesota Vikings. They're going over to the Detroit to face on the Lions, who are 5-10. Matt Stafford in, Dalvin Cook out. Dalvin Cook going to be missing this game due to the passing of his father. We wish him the best of luck. Big wishes and thoughts and prayers to his family. Rest in peace to Mr. Cook. But Matthew Stafford, though injured, is going to be in this game. The blue-collar quarterback of the NFL, just the guy's guy in Matt Stafford. I'll start with you, Mess Around, since this is the NFC North. What are you looking at for this game? Who do you got?
This game really doesn't matter for either team. They're just playing for pride at this point. Without Dalvin Cook, I think the Lions are going to take this game. I think they're without Galladay too, right? The Lions.
I know Galladay has been out for quite some time. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, they officially ruled him out.
I think Matthew Stafford's going to have a big game for the last game of the year. Lions win a close one, 24-21.
All righty, Lions 24-21. Landon, we'll turn it over to you.
I think if the Vikings had Dalvin Cook, that it'd be a different outcome 100%. But yeah, I'm going to go with the Lions here as well. I'm going to go pretty low scoring. I'm going to go 17-10 Lions.
And yeah, I mean, I'm right there with you. I mean, the Vikings, we all know at this point, we've seen it throughout the season that team really rests on the back of Dalvin Cook. Of course, like we said, unfortunate that he can't be in this game due to some very unfortunate circumstances. But because of that, I do have to go with the Lions. I'll take a hurt Matt Stafford over a healthy Kirk Cousins. I just will. Matt Stafford has proven that he does he deserves better than the Detroit Lions, really. No better way to word it. So I think he's got something to prove. He's going to have a big chip on his shoulder. Plus, I think this could be a little bit of a tryout game for Matt Stafford on another team next year because he has no reason to be, like I said, no reason to be on the Detroit Lions. His career is being wasted out there. Vikings still have their receivers. He's going 45-7. I don't think Stafford will play the whole game. Now, if Stafford doesn't play the whole game, Chase Daniel, I don't have any confidence in that, but that's on I'm not going to say that I have the premise to say that Stafford will play just because he's in. But yeah, so unanimous decision on the Lions on that one. Nate, why don't you go ahead, flip it to the next one. Oh, here we go. The toilet bowl. The New York Jets 2-13 going into Gillette Stadium to face the Patriots, sitting at 6-9. Another AFC East matchup. Landon, we'll start with you first on this one. Who do you got?
Yeah, this is definitely not a game to watch. I don't care who you are, just don't watch it. It's going to be terrible. Both these teams, they honestly should just be starting their backups. They have no reason to be starting their starters. It's going to be terrible. There'll be many turnovers by Cam Newton. I'm just going to go ahead and call that. He's going to have a terrible game. He's had a terrible year. I'm going to go with the Jets to take their third win here, although I don't agree with it. I think that they should have started their backups a few weeks back so they could get Trevor Lawrence. But I'm going to go with the Jets here, 10-6.
Ugh, that is terrible.
Yeah.
Mess around, we'll turn it to you. Who do you have in this game?
Gosh, like Landon said, this is going to be a bad game, but the Jets won 2 in a row. Break up the Jets, huh? I think the Jets get their third win in the season. They win 3 in a row. They ride that wave, the 3-game win streak out the season. They blew their chance on getting Lawrence. Cam Newton's terrible. We all know that. I think it's going to be a 17-10 game. Jets win.
Fair enough. And right back at it. We're back on unanimity. I tell you what, it's not very often that the New York Jets can say that their quarterback is better than their opposition quarterback. And Cam Newton has just been an absolute bum this season. I mean, we've talked about it. We talked about it yesterday on Sports Minute. I think Joe Flacco has thrown the same amount of passing touchdowns as Cam Newton. I know he was like 35th in passing yards at a point. Cam Newton was, and there's only 32 starting quarterbacks. Like it's just not like Cam Newton's had a very forgettable season. This is a guy who just won MVP just a couple of seasons ago. It's nuts to see, but the transition's been absolutely terrible. And a lot of people have been saying, well, he doesn't have any weapons or anything like that, but he didn't have any weapons when he won MVP in Carolina. I mean, his number one receiver was Devin Funches. And then other than that, he had the likes of Philly Brown and other, like Philly Brown was a 2 on that team. That's not, no wonder you won MVP. You made anything happen with that team, But, this is, it's time to stop making excuses for Cam. He's been looking pretty bad. I'll ask you both while we're here. I'll start with you, Landon. Do you see Cam Newton starting next season, or do you think his time as a starter is done?
I don't think he has a future with any team. I think if you're Belichick, you don't re-sign. Correct me if I'm wrong. He's on a 1-year deal, right?
Correct.
Okay, yeah. So there's no reason to re-sign him. Go with your young quarterback and sit him and see what happens there. But I think Cam Newton's done. He's said all season he knows where he is right now. And he thinks that he has more football ahead of him. I don't agree. I don't think he can put in any amount of work to fix what he's already done in New England. So I don't think and even if he is a starter, he's not going to be more than he was this year.
Dave, do you see him as a starter next year or no?
Somebody's going to give him a chance as a starter as a bridge quarterback to one of these young QBs that gets drafted. Maybe he goes to Washington. The Washington football team is a backup there to get back with Ron Rivera. But yeah, I think he's going to get a starting job somewhere as a bridge quarterback. Somebody's going to give him a chance.
All right. Nate, let's go ahead and move on to the next one. Ooh, there's a good game. The Dolphins and the Bills, the other game from the AFC East this week. As the slide says, the Buffalo Bills have already clinched. If Miami wins or a loss by the Browns, Ravens, or Colts, they get in. Miami definitely has the easiest of the remaining there are 5 teams, ladies and gentlemen, that are 10-5 right now in the AFC that are fighting for 4 spots. So one team has to be left at home. It's going to be interesting. It's between the Titans, the Colts, the Browns, the Dolphins, and the Ravens. Just a whole collection of teams that are just fighting for basically one spot. But the Bills have already clinched. I'm pretty sure the word is that Josh Allen will not be playing. I've heard Stephon Diggs is not going to be playing. They're going to have the starters on the bench as far as I'm concerned. I could be right or could be wrong on that. Mess around. We'll start with you. What are your predictions for this game?
I think it's going to be close, but I think the Dolphins are going to get in, and it's going to be on the hands of Fitzmagic. He's going to come in and replace the struggling Tua again.
Fitzmagic is actually out for this game. He is on the COVID list.
Oh, that's right. My bad.
It's all Tua.
It is. Okay, so with that being said, I think it's going to be a little closer than I thought. 17-14 Dolphins, and they get into the playoffs.
Landon, I'll turn it over to you.
We can all agree Tua has been struggling this year, but without Stephon Diggs and Josh Allen on the Bills' offensive end, we all know that's kind of the life of that team, and I don't see them putting up much points. I got the Dolphins here. It's a must-win game for them. I'm going to go Dolphins 24-17.
I'm going to be a little bit different from you on that one. I like the Bills in a low-scoring game, similar to what Nathaniel said. Nate the Great. Why do I keep calling him by his real name? Let's be honest. But, yeah, I think Miami's one of 2 teams, maybe the only team who could manage to lose this week. Like Ace had said in the comments section that Josh Allen will be playing at least one quarter. So maybe enough offense will be generated in the first quarter of play. You want to keep your players a little bit fresh. Don't want them to go into the postseason playoffs completely cold. So we all are going to see maybe Josh Allen, maybe the starters for at least a quarter. It's just that how bad Tua has been struggling, and I just don't know if I have enough confidence in him to say it. I trust the Dolphins defense to hold up against the Bills backups because I know their backup quarterback's Matt Barkley. So that'll be fun to watch. But other than that, I have a hunch that Miami's going to find a way to not win this game. And I don't know how, I don't know why, but they're going to find a way to lose. So I'm going to go Buffalo in a short game, something around the likes of like 14-13. It's going to be like right there. So let's turn it on to the next game. All right. An AFC North matchup between the Ravens, who are 10-5, one of those teams fighting for that spot, and the Bengals sitting at 4-10-1. The Ravens are in with a win, and if there is a Brown or Colt loss, either one, they can get in. Can Baltimore make a run? If they make it to the playoffs, we'll get to that in a minute. Let's start with this game. First, Landon, we'll turn it over to you. Ravens, Bengals, where are you sitting on this one?
I think the Ravens have an easy path to the playoffs. I think they'll beat the Bengals here, and I think we will all say that they'll win by 10 plus, and it's not going to be close. And they'll go in and make the playoffs, and I think we could see them make a run. I mean, Lamar Jackson's kind of back on his game. And I've been saying I don't think he was off, but he's kind of back. I'm going to say it to where he was last year. In my opinion, he's playing just as good the second half of the season, and I think there could be a run in the playoffs.
Mess around. I'll turn it over to you. Where do you sit for today's game?
Ravens are going to win this game easily. I think it's going to be like a 34-17 game. Baltimore wins. Lamar Jackson, they can definitely make a run.
I know you're doing a sports show. Hey.
Now, whenever I'm looking at it, I just don't know if I'm confident in this Ravens team to make a run yet. I really don't know how much I believe in them to do it. Yeah, they've come around and they've been exciting. They've been a good team to watch. They arguably had the game of the year between them and Cleveland, at least so far in 2020. I don't think this game's going to be close. I think they're going to take care of them. But whenever it comes to the playoff run, I mean, there's a gauntlet in the AFC. I mean, the fact that an 11-5 team, if all 5 teams could win, will miss at minimum a 10-win team will miss the postseason, which is absolutely nuts. So that lets you know how much of a gauntlet it is in the AFC. I'm assuming that the Ravens, sitting at a 6 seed, will have to go up against either what would that be? It would be either the Tennessee Titans, the Indianapolis Colts, or the winner of the AFC. Was it the North? So it'd be it'd be a divisional matchup between the Steelers or the Steelers. Yeah. So that'd be interesting to see. It really all depends on matchups. I really don't believe in the Ravens that much. I haven't been high on Lamar Jackson this season at all. I know he's coming off of an MVP season, but I just didn't trust that he was going to be anywhere close to that. They finally made the right decision and shut down Mark Ingram and made J.K. Dobbins the lead back. They should have been doing that the whole season. I don't think they have as much struggles that they had. But there's just some question marks on that team still. So I'm going to pass on that question for right now. We'll see exactly who they get matched up with before I make any decision on the Ravens. So, Nate, let's turn it over to the next one. All right, the other AFC North matchup, as mentioned, the Pittsburgh Steelers. They have won the AFC North, and they will be taking on the Cleveland Browns, another 10-5 team, really fighting for those spots. If I'm not mistaken, they're currently sitting in the 7. They are in the most flexible spot. But like I said, there's 5 teams facing for this spot. Whenever you include everybody fighting for it and the Tennessee Titans, because they are also 10-5 and can fall back if they lose and the Colts win. So Pittsburgh's clinched. The Browns are in with a win or a Colts loss. Let's talk about this game first. I know that Big Ben Roethlisberger will not be playing. It is Mason Rudolph will be starting at quarterback. But there's also been a lot of COVID concerns with the Browns. The Browns have had to shut down their facilities this week. There's questions on whether or not this game even happens. So I haven't heard anything about it yet. I haven't been awake long enough, I'll be completely honest. But let's start with you, Landon. Where do you sit if this game is going to be played?
Big Ben not playing, that's really going to screw the Steelers over, and the Browns will get in. I feel like, Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb, I've also said this all year that, well, as long as I've been on this network, that is the best 1-2 punch in the league, and that's as good as you can get right there. And they'll just destroy the Steelers defense. I think they'll both run for over 100 yards. So I'm going to go Browns. I'm going to go 34-21.
All right, 34-21 in favor of Cleveland. Mess around. We'll turn it over to you between Steelers and Browns today.
Oh, man, I don't even know where to go in this game. Cleveland, do they have any receivers playing?
That's a great question.
It'd be like last week. I think they're going to struggle to put up points, especially against the Steelers defense that's been playing real well all year, for most of the year anyway. So, I don't know. I guess I'll go with Cleveland in a close game. 24-21, and they get in.
Fair enough. I think with Big Ben out, I think it makes it a little bit easier to make this decision. I think I'm going to go with the Browns for this one. If Rudolph was not playing, I think I would have gone with the Steelers. But just because of everything that's been going on with the Browns recently, with the COVID last week, not having any wide receivers, managing to fall to the Jets. And then this week, their facilities have still been shut down. I'm not sure if they've even managed to get a practice in since that. It's been a rough ending for the Browns. They're going into a terrible time to start having things fall off the wall and everything such as that. It's not looking great, but they made Myles Garrett an honorary captain for this game, and that makes me so happy that he's the captain against Mason Rudolph. I think he's going to have arguably the game of the season. I think he's going to come out with a vengeance. I don't know why. I know he took his helmet off and beat him with it last time he saw him. Don't think whatever Mason Rudolph said to him has escaped his head. I guarantee that he's going to come out there and he's going to be angry. He's going to want to take off the head of Mason Rudolph yet again. He may just do it through tackling and not through physical abuse, but we'll see exactly how he goes about it. But let's talk about the Browns while we're still on the subject. Let's address that question right there. Do the Browns have enough offense to make a playoff game if they are to make the postseason. Like I said, currently fighting for those precious spots. But we've seen the Browns be pretty Jekyll and Hyde throughout the season. I mean, at least from an offensive standpoint, because we've seen Baker be on and off. But as of late, well, not last game, but prior to that, he was looking phenomenal. I mean, he was arguably one of the better performing quarterbacks in the league over the last couple of weeks. Mess around, Dave. I'll start with you. Do you think the Browns have what it takes offensively to win a playoff game?
I don't. Only because I don't trust Baker Mayfield. Like you said, he's been off and on all year. And it also depends on the matchup. I mean, I know if they get in there 7th seed, they'll probably end up against Pittsburgh or Buffalo. Right now it's Buffalo. So, and with the way Buffalo plays, I think Buffalo would destroy them in the first round.
All right, Landon, turn it over to you.
Yeah, I 100% agree. If they get in, they're going to play Buffalo, and more than likely. So, and that'll be a blowout. We know Josh Allen, potential MVP campaign. Stephon Diggs is amazing. He's playing amazing. That defense is playing pretty well, and they'll shut down the Browns. The Browns defense will not be able to hold Josh Allen, and the Bills will just destroy them in week one, in round one.
Fair enough. If it was anybody else, if it wasn't the Buffalo Bills, I think I would. I think I'd say yes. What really concerns me about this game, or about this Browns team, I should say, is their defense. Really, their defense concerns me more than their offense. I think their offense has the ability to drop 50 points, and we've seen it this season. We've seen them drop 49. We've seen them. I think they've had 2 40-point games this season. I'm not concerned about their offense. I'm concerned about their defense. Their defense is very on and off as well. They're great one week, they're bad the next, and it's just they need to be able to be more consistent before I believe in them. I don't think they have. I think the Bills' defensive unit is superior to the Browns' offensive unit. If you put them up against the Steelers, now I think we're talking about a different game. Right. If they manage to find a way in the 6th seed, I know the Steelers are hurt. They're depleted. They're missing Bud Dupree. They're missing Devin Bush. They're missing all their young linebackers minus TJ Watt. They've had a lot of injuries and a lot of missing pieces on defense recently. So I would go with it really does depend on the matchup. So. Now talking about the Steelers, let's talk about them. Currently sitting in the 3 seed, I'm not mistaken. Landon, I'll start with you first. Do you see Pittsburgh as a first-round exit against one of these wildcard teams?
Yes, 100%. Like you said, they're hurt, they're beaten down, and they're overrated. I'm just gonna say it. They're frauds. They were good in the beginning of the year because they were playing nobody. And if we look at the game against the big teams, for example, the Ravens, the Ravens scored 24 on that defense. That's supposed to be fantastic. And Lamar Jackson was not having a good start of the year. We can all agree on that. So I think they're frauds. I think they'll get beat. They'll play a better team in the first round. And it probably won't even be a close game.
Fair enough. Mess around. What are your opinions on the Steelers' first round chances? Do you think they're out in round 1, or do you think we'll see them again in round 2?
It all depends on who they play. If they go against a Baltimore team, yeah, they're done in the first round. I think Baltimore has enough offensively to get it done with that running game, and I just don't trust Pittsburgh in that. They've lost 3 of their last 4. Roethlisberger had a good game last week, but you didn't think about it. Yeah, I think they're done in the first round.
Yeah, I think their win over the Colts was honestly a little bit of a fluke. I think if they got put up against the Colts, I think the Colts would take them. I think the Colts would take them that time. I trust the Browns over them due to offensive ability. I trust the Titans to put up more. The Titans would be the one team that I'd honestly question, but currently they're sitting at a divisional spot and they're facing the Texans, which we'll talk about later on. So I don't know if
the Titans. Derrick Henry's been too inconsistent. Like, people are saying he's, this big bad. I'm not denying, he's really good, but if he doesn't come to play in the playoffs, if they make it, we'll talk about that later, then they're not going to go anywhere. You know what I mean? They can potentially lose to the Texans if he doesn't put up 100 yards. So that's my problem with the Titans, but I'll rant about them later.
Yeah, we'll definitely talk about Derrick Henry in a little bit. Go ahead, Nate. Why don't you switch it to the next game? We'll see what else we got here. All right. Mess around, and I have been waiting. The Packers sitting at 12-3 against the Bears sitting at 8-7 in Chicago. Green Bay is going for the 1 seed. All they need to do is win or one of the other teams lose. Chicago is in win now mode 100%. They need a win to sit into the 7 seed or an Arizona loss, but we'll get to that game in a minute. I got to go to you first, Mess Around. We got to talk about it. Are our Bears going to pull it off against the Packers, or are we going to be banking on that Arizona game?
God, this game scares me. I've never been this nervous for a Bears game since 2010, the NFC Championship game.
Also against the Packers.
Yeah. Rodgers and Favre since 92 own the Bears. They're 41-15 since 92. So I remember that game in 13 when the division crown was on the line and Green Bay won at the end. Rodgers threw a touchdown with 38 seconds left. I think we're looking at heartbreak today. We're going to have to depend on that Cardinals game. I hate to say it, but Aaron Rodgers owns us.
You're not wrong. Landon, I'll turn it over to you.
I wish I could take the Bears here. God, I wish I could. So my Seahawks would get that 1 seed, but I mean, Aaron Rodgers is playing phenomenal. Nobody's going to be able to top him. But, I mean, Mitch Trubisky, I can't take away from what he's been doing, right? I mean, he's played amazing. They put up 41 last week, was it? Or 2 weeks ago?
41 was last week, against the Jags.
Yeah. And then, David Montgomery, I'm pretty sure he scored a touchdown like the last 5-6 games, something like that.
He's worked his way into top 5 yards of the running back. He's number 5 right now.
So could we see a miracle? I mean, that defense is good, and the Packers are in that position to lose. Like, you know what I mean? They had a golden streak to go to the Super Bowl last year. They lost to the Niners, and I mean, in my opinion, they were a better team, and they got blown out. So it is for the Packers to lose here, but I think they'll win. Yeah, I think it'll be close. I'm going to go 24-21.
I think when I'm looking at it, obviously we know that when it comes to defensive units, you got to take Chicago over Green Bay just because, well, we can stop a run, and that's something the Packers can't do. But whenever it comes down to offense, we all know who's superior. It's not even a question. But the Bears, like Landon said, have been hot recently. They've won. What is it? 3 of their last 4, and of their last 4 games, they've scored at minimum 30 points, which is something that we haven't seen from the Bears since 1965. A 4-game skid in which they scored at least 30 points in every game. It's been phenomenal. To give you an idea, whenever Mitch Trubisky has been in. When Mitch Trubisky has been the starter, they have scored at least 24 points in all but one of his starts. And Nick Foles, in his time as starter, went 0 for 7 in reaching 24 points. That should tell you how different this offense is. They're clicking. Granted, the one time they didn't reach 24 points was against the Packers, but it was also the one game that Mitch Trubisky had just came up off the bench after sitting 7 games straight. This was his first game back against the Packers, that game whenever in Lambeau, whenever the Bears got blown out. But that defense, a different thing about that defense is that when Nick Foles is the starting quarterback, they were on the field basically 75% of every single game. That defense was really worn out. That defense is exhausted. Now we're going to see a little bit more of what the Bears actually are in this game. I don't think it's a 41-21 game to where did they score 25? I thought they were at 23 or something like that. My bad. Maybe I don't know my facts, but whenever I do know that the Bears have been they're scoring at a new level that we haven't seen in decades. So I think you're going to see what the Bears actually are in this game. I don't think it's going to be anywhere close to the way that they blew us out in Lambeau, especially being in Chicago. It's typically a little bit of a closer game, but I think it's going to come down somewhat to the wire, honestly. I think Mitch is going to find a way to kind of nickel and dime his way against the Packers offense. I think Montgomery is going to have a great game. We've figured out that if Mitch just doesn't throw a ball over 20 yards, we stand a pretty good chance. If we just nickel and dime it, we go short and intermediate passes. As long as we're not going for the long ball, we typically have a good chance. And that was a problem against the Packers. I think we attempted 3 or 4 passes over 20 yards. And I think 2 of his interceptions came in those passes. So we'll see exactly how Mitch and the boys can hang on. But as of right now, I'm going to go with the Packers just as an unbiased answer. I mean, it's the fair bet in history. And if you look at history, it's the fair bet. So we'll move on to the next game.
I'll be rooting for them Bears, though.
How about them Bears?
So bad.
Bears. Next game, please, Nate. All righty. A game that means literally nothing. The Saints sitting at 11-4, currently without their whole entire running back crew, and the Carolina Panthers sitting at 5-10. This game, for no sake other than the potential 1 seed of the Saints. Freddie, get out of here. You all of a sudden, you just think you're a Packers fan. You don't even know what team you like. Get out of here. The Saints, as I mentioned, no running backs. They could be looking at Ty Montgomery being the starting running back. I say go with Taysom Hill. I think it'd be funny. But we'll see exactly what happens. I'm pretty sure they're sticking with Ty Montgomery. And then the Panthers are just the Panthers, really. Landon, we'll turn it over to you. Who do you have in this game?
I think the Saints will win. It means absolutely nothing. It doesn't matter. I mean, I'm going to take New Orleans. Like, I literally have nothing to say this game. I'm just going to take New Orleans in it. I'm going to go 21-17. But while we're talking about the Saints, I just want to say I got a Bleacher Report notification that says Drew Brees likely to retire.
Is there something to do that day?
Speaking of which, we just missed the Bears game. Mess around. I got an alert that said that we are likely to retain Matt Nagy next season.
I saw that.
So maybe we'll see another year in Nagy. So mess around. We'll turn it over to you. Saints, Panthers. What are your opinions on this one?
Saints really need to win this game to stay in contention for that number 1 seed. They need help to get it, though. I don't think they're going to get that help. But I do think the Saints are going to win this game. Excuse me. And I don't think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be like a 31-17 game.
Yeah, this is a very boring game. This is not one I'm going to be paying attention to, if we're going to be completely honest. The Saints without a running back will be interesting. Obviously, the team's been on the back of Alvin Kamara for a couple weeks. But, you know, I think it'll be interesting to see because Ty Montgomery is not good at all. There's a reason why he's the 5th string running back since 4 of them are out. Right. There's a reason he's so far down on the depth chart. That's why I say start Taysom Hill at running back. We haven't seen him play running back yet. Why not throw him back there?
I mean, why not? It doesn't mean anything. I mean,
right. It doesn't matter if we haven't seen him play there yet. It doesn't mean he can't play the position. You know, Sean Payton puts him anywhere. He'd probably play offensive line next week. You know, we'll see exactly what Taysom Hill can do. But I think this is going to be an easy win for the Saints. I don't think it's going to be a fun game to watch. It's just going to be exactly what you'd expect from this game. So obviously Saints playing for the 1 seed, they need the win to get it. So they'll be playing like the Saints play. Just so you know, the Bears won 17-13 versus the Giants in week 2. Yeah, I knew that. Why? What does that mean? What does that have to do with anything? Anyway, next game, please.
Ooh.
Mr. Trubisky, also the quarterback of that team, by the way. The Seattle Seahawks, Landon's team, going to be going up. They're sitting at 11-4. They need to win to get into the number 1 seed as well. The San Francisco 49ers at 6-9 with the one, the only CJ Beathard at quarterback this week. That's fun to talk about. If Seattle wins and Green Bay takes a loss to the Bears, then the Seattle Seahawks will get the number 1 seed. And there's that. So an interesting situation for the Seahawks. They have a better chance than the Saints at getting the 1, but they still do need Green Bay to take the loss. We'll start with you, mess around. Let's what are your opinions on this game between Seattle and San Francisco?
Well, if Seattle does win and Green Bay loses and the Saints win, then the Saints will get the number 1 seed. So there's that. I think Seattle's going to win this game. It's a division game. It's going to be close. The Niners pulled off the upset and did us a favor by beating the Cardinals last weekend. I don't see that happening again this weekend. Seattle's got too much to play for. I think they win 34-21.
All righty, Landon, we'll turn it over to you.
This is exactly why I'm rooting for the Bears. I need them to win, and I think Seattle will win this game too. The last time they played, it wasn't. I'm pretty sure it was like a 2-touchdown game. I can't clarify that, but it wasn't close. So yeah, the Seahawks just got too much to play for. That there's no way they could let this game slip. And I think it's crazy that the Seahawks were second in their division 2 weeks ago. Just think about that. And now they're like in contention for the number 1 seed in the NFC. I think that's crazy. And I think it's all because the Rams lost to the Jets. That game threw everything off in the NFC, not just that division, everything in the NFC. So I think the Seahawks win this one. And I just got to hope that Green Bay can choke and Seahawks get that 1 seed.
Hey, Aaron Rodgers typically gets hurt at least once a season. We haven't seen it yet, so keep an eye out for that. The Rams losing to the Jets really did kind of throw off the whole NFL because the Rams were fighting for a 1 seed at that point too.
Right.
The Rams were right up there with the Packers and the Saints and everybody such as that. Granted, Seahawks right behind them, but they did have the tiebreaker. They were up in the lead in the NFC West. So the Rams were doing good, and then all of a sudden they pulled the ultimate choke, and they can find a way to really screw the Bears out of a postseason spot. But we'll get to that game here. I'm sure we'll get to that soon. So let's go to the next game, Nate. And thank you for clarifying, Nate, that he was saying that was the one game, the 17-13 game against the Giants. That was the one game Trubisky started that they didn't score 24 plus. That was the one game. Thank you for clarifying that. Must-win game for the Colts. Yeah, that's an understatement. The Jags are sitting at 1-14, and the Colts sitting at 10-5. Currently, the one team that is on the outside looking in. If all teams were to win right now, they are the one team sitting at the 8th spot. The Colts win the division with a win and a Titans loss. And then they can find a way into the wild card spot if one of those 10-5 teams loses and they manage to take a win. The Colts have to just win this game. They really do have to just win this game. And then the fate of the playoffs is in everybody else's hands, really. But let's not forget the Jaguars won win week 1 against the Colts.
Right. I thought about that too.
So it's a weird thing to think about. You would think that the 1-14 team, and not to mention the Jags have locked up the 1 spot. They have nothing to lose. So it's a very interesting game when you look at it from that point. Landon, I'll start with you. Where do you sit between the Jaguars and the Colts?
I see the Colts win this one easily, but I think it is interesting to think that the Jags did beat the Colts week 1. You can't look past that. Teams match up weird. I mean, I think if you're the Jags, you don't win the game. Just lose on purpose so you can get Trevor Lawrence, who is one of the best quarterbacks I think I've ever seen in college football. So, I mean, I think the Colts win this one. I'm going to go 37-10.
I was going to say their offense could be a little bit stagnant. I know they're missing their breakout running back this year in James Robinson. They're also missing DJ Chark. The Jags are missing some pieces. Mess around. We'll turn it over to you. What are your thoughts on Jaguars Colts?
Please.
Yeah, like you said, the Jaguars, they've already locked up that number 1 pick. I could see them playing spoiler, but I'm not going to go that way. The Colts are going to win this game easily. But I don't think they get in. I think they're going to be that 11-win team that's left out. I think it's not going to be close. I think it's going to be like a 34-7 game.
You think all of them are going to win and the Colts are going to be left out?
I think so.
Oh, that's so tough. That would hurt my stomach, especially because I live in Indy. I live not too far from Indy, and I'm just going to hear about it at work. I'm going to hear about it everywhere I go. That's not I think one of these teams is going to find a way to lose, and I don't think it's going to be the Colts. I think the Colts are going to find a way into the postseason, into the playoffs, whatever you want to call it. I go in between the two for some reason. I guess I'm stuck in baseball mind, but yeah, I think they're going to find a way to win this game against the Jags. Obviously, I think this game isn't going to be like the first one where the Jags play so close. They've had quarterback issues. They don't know who they're going with. I'm pretty sure Mike Glennon's the quarterback for this game. But like I said, no DJ Chark, no James Robinson. I'm assuming it's going to be on the arms of Raquel Armstead. And I don't know how much I like that. When this wide receiver core without DJ Chark is very suspect between Keelan Cole, Laviska Shenault. There's some question marks that have no answers yet. It's going to be interesting to see, but I think the Colts kind of take this one pretty handedly. They have a pretty amazing defense, and honestly, you got caught sleeping week one. I mean, it happens. That it really does happen. Sometimes you come out the gate a little bit slow, and the Colts were one of those teams. So I think they'll find a way to turn it around in week 17. So next game, please, Nate. Good old. The battle that says it all in the NFC East. Long story short, Washington football team versus the Eagles. Washington, you just need a win. Washington needs a dub to get in here, and they will secure the 4th spot in the NFC East divisional winner. If not, it'll come down to a game which we are going to talk about later. Let's first start with you, Mess Around. Where do you sit for the football team versus the Eagles on this one?
Man, this is everything for the football team. Winning their in. I think the Eagles are going to spoil it, though. I think the Eagles take this game, and it's going to be close, 17-14.
17-14 Eagles. So going for spoiler for the Philadelphia. Landon, I'll turn it over to you. Washington or Philadelphia?
This is a must-win game for Washington. And, like it says there, they've stayed in games that have been big. I mean, they beat the Steelers, who at the time were, the top team in the league. And, I mean, the power rankings say, I think it was the Chiefs. But, either way, they were undefeated. And they gave them their first loss. They stayed with the Seahawks. That final score was like 15-20. So I think the football – do we know who's starting quarterback there? Because they've had issues there too. Is it
Alex Smith has been practicing. He is on track to play.
Then I think the football team runs away with this one. I'm going to go Washington 31-17, and they'll get that playoff spot.
Yeah, this Washington football team is probably, honestly, if we're going to be unbiased here, one of my favorite teams to watch this season. I know they're only 6-9. It's not exactly a record that stands out to you. But due to the lack of talent in the NFC East this year, they've had a chance to make a name for themselves, and they've done a great job of doing so. Sure, they're not above 500. They're not playing exactly the greatest football, but they really do have some marquee wins, as mentioned by Landon. I mean, they dethroned the Pittsburgh Steelers of their undefeated streak, which was really interesting. That was fun to watch. And then they've also had a couple of big wins over some other teams, like Landon said. They've also played a couple of other teams really close. Their defense is just so fun to watch. They need a couple of they need some secondary help, but that front seven, I would take that front seven over a lot of front sevens in the NFL. The Washington's just been an interesting case this season, between Alex Smith coming back after needing 13 surgeries to save his leg, Ron Rivera battling cancer, to the Dwayne Haskins debacle and everything like that, to losing their name before the season started. I mean, they've just been all over the place, but they've been a cool story this year. It's been the most 2020 thing of all time if they can make the postseason. I said that a couple of weeks ago, but now, hey, bigger and brighter things, 2021, baby. 2021's the year of Washington football team, where I am telling you, they're going to get this dub over the Eagles. I don't believe in Jalen Hurts to make it happen. I know he played great his first couple games, but last week we saw him play a little bit more pedestrian. The Eagles have had a lot of question marks, a lot of injury issues as well. So I think Washington, knowing they need to have something to play for, they're going to take this game pretty handily. And the Eagles, I mean, if the Eagles beat them, it's going to be between the Cowboys and the Giants. And I mean, if you're the Eagles, what team do you really hate the most? Or I should say hate the least? I would probably argue it'd be Washington. So With that being said, do you guys think that this is that the Washington football team could manage to win a playoff game if they get in? Granted, if they are the 4 seed, which they will be, they're not going up any higher. They would be going against currently the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Landon, I'll start with you first. Do you think this is a team that could win a playoff game?
If they play the Buccaneers, I think they'll win. Simply because Chase Young has played we all know he was the best player in the draft last year. He's played like he should. And he'll pressure Tom Brady. That running game has been on and off all year. And I think football team would beat the Buccaneers. I think it'd be close. I think Alec, like you said, it's the most 2020 thing ever. They have so much going against them. And I think they will win a playoff game, but I don't see much happening after the first round for them simply because they're just not – they don't have the firepower as a lot of the teams in the NFC. So I think they potentially could if they play the Buccaneers because Tom Brady can't move out of the pocket and Chase Young will just have a field day.
Mess around, do you think Washington has the ability to win a playoff game?
I do. If they get in, I do think they have the ability to win. That defense, man, lights out. They're like, top 4 in the league in defense, somewhere in there. Defense travels, especially in playoffs. Defense is huge. If you got a defense, you can do a lot in the playoffs. So I definitely think they have the ability to win a playoff game.
Oh, Lord, if Washington makes the Super Bowl. Get that out of here. I don't want to see that. Washington, as much as I love this team, I tell you what, if they manage to win the division, they couldn't get a better matchup in round 1 to face the Buccaneers. If they're going to face any wild card team, that's the best case scenario. Just because, yes, on paper, the Buccaneers are such a superior team. I mean, it's not even close. The Buccaneers are one of those front 7 I'll take over the Washington football team. Their offense is better on every sake of the matter. I mean, from every single position, they are better in every single way. And on defense, they are pretty superior as well. But whenever it comes down to it, we've seen Brady struggle when he's rushed. And to give you an idea, I mean, look at some of the games that he's lost. He's lost against the Bears. Whenever Khalil Mack's coming off the edge, Akeem Hicks, Robert Quinn. These are Roquan Smith. These are players getting after him at a pretty successful rate. They managed to lose to the Chiefs when they have a pretty decent rushing attack. I want to say Chris Jones was there. Frank Clark. These are players who can get after the quarterback. Lost to the Rams and Aaron Donald. If you have a successful pass rush, you can really make Tom Brady uncomfortable. And whenever Tom Brady is uncomfortable, he has not been performing well in Tampa Bay. But if I'm going to be honest, I just don't know if they have the offensive ability. I know Tom Brady could be uncomfortable whenever it comes down to the pass rush, but at the end of the day, I think they can still find a way to make something happen over Washington. I think that Bucs team really got unfortunate being in the NFC South because any other division, I think they would probably be the number 1 seed or at least compete for it. I know they had that weird skid where they lost, I want to say 4 straight or something like that. They had a weird part of the season, but other than that, they've been pretty dominant whenever it comes down to it. So as much as I would love to see Washington win a playoff game, I just don't know if I can say they will. So excuse me. Moving on to the next one, Nate. The consolation prize, the participation ribbon. Let's talk about that game. If the Eagles manage to pull it off, the winner of this game will be your NFC East champion, and that's disgusting. Especially because the Giants could manage to win, and we will have a 6-win team in the postseason if Washington manages to lose. And that's just – it hurts my stomach knowing that my Bears could have 8 wins and not make the playoffs. But let's talk about this game. We're already here. Cowboys, Giants. We've seen the Cowboys really step up as of late. The Giants have been an amazing defensive unit all season, but have had a lot of questions at quarterback between who's their franchise guy, Daniel Jones or Colt McCoy. That's disgusting.
That's terrible.
Landon, I'll turn it over to you first. Cowboys, Giants, where do you sit for this one?
I think the Cowboys will win this game. It's just going to be terrible. This is another game not to watch. It doesn't matter. Just don't watch it. Well, I mean, it does matter, but you don't deserve to watch this game.
I hope it doesn't matter.
It shouldn't. Let's be honest. It should not matter.
No.
But I think the Cowboys will win this game. I'm going to go 24-14.
Fun fact, Nate was talking to us about this beforehand, and I love that comment that he had.
Oh, yeah.
He simmed a Madden game to see who he would predict for this one, and the game ended in a 16-16 tie. So if that doesn't tell you how fun this game is going to be to watch, mess around. I'll turn it over to you. Where do you sit between Cowboys Giants?
So I had the Washington football team losing, so this would be the division crown game for this. The winner for my pick gets into the playoffs. So I'm going to go with the Cowboys, as much as it pains me to say that. Because we all know Cowboys fans are delusional like Freddie. Cowboys win 24-10.
Fair enough. I have to stick with the Cowboys too. I really do. As much as I want to take the Giants, I don't know if I can. Andy Dalton's been playing pretty well as of late. He's really kind of turned this Cowboys team around. They were really struggling. This is a team who lost their starting quarterback very early on in the season. And then have had running back issues with Ezekiel Elliott. The man can't hold on to the ball this year. They are too good of a team personnel-wise, because whenever you look at this team, they have no reason to be sitting at 6 wins. The Cowboys should be better than this, especially on the defensive front. Their defense has been absolutely abysmal this season, and they have no right to be. They have decent personnel on defense. I don't know why they keep performing so poorly. But when it comes down to it, if you don't know who your quarterback is, I don't know how I don't have a lot of confidence picking you. And Colt McCoy and Daniel Jones have been going back and forth. It's similar to the Patriots. Daniel Jones may play and Cam Newton may play, but you're going to see Colt McCoy or you're going to see Jarrett Stidham at a point in the game because the starter is going to get pulled. It's just they've both been performing very terribly and not enough confidence in the Giants. But I just like I said, Dalton's been playing at a different level recently. And we've seen Dalton lead teams to the postseason before and teams that probably shouldn't be there in those Bengals teams. But
Right.
I wouldn't be shocked to see it happen again if Washington manages to lose in that Eagles game. But if the Giants had Saquon Barkley, we lost him in week 2 against Chicago. He tore his ACL. Do you think the Giants were the team to beat in the NFC East? I'll start with you, mess around.
I do think that they would have been the team to beat, but Saquon, that's where their offense goes. Or Saquon, he opened up the passing game for them too, especially coming out of the backfield as a receiver. I think they would have won more than 6 games with Saquon.
Landon?
Last year Saquon was the guy to watch. He had a little bit of injury problems, but overall he didn't perform, right? I mean, they said he'd have a legendary season, record after record, but he didn't do it. He didn't perform, injuries or not, he didn't perform. And then this year he got hurt, and the 1 week he played, he didn't play any different than he did the year before. So I don't think you would see a different outcome from the Giants, maybe one more win, max, just because of his red zone presence. But, it's the same question with Dak Prescott and the Cowboys. You just don't know because the players are so inconsistent. Saquon's inconsistent, and Dak Prescott's inconsistent.
Hey, you say one win. That means a lot in this division.
That's a very good point.
One win in this division means more than one win in any other division. But I don't know. It's been one of those because, like Messeron said, the offense comes and goes with Saquon Barkley because obviously the opposing defense has to respect Saquon Barkley because he is capable of doing pretty big things. It's just do you still expect the running game to open up the passing game enough to where Daniel Jones can be successful? And that's where I get a little questionable. I don't know if I trust Daniel Jones to make anything happen, regardless of who his running back is. I can't do it. I can't say the Giants would have been the favorites. I had the Cowboys as the favorites at the beginning of the season. Obviously, losing Dak really puts a damper on things. But ultimately, I can't say the Giants would have been the favorite. I really can't. Washington's been a fun story to watch. And I just don't. The Giants haven't had like an easy schedule, to be honest. They've at least early on, they played a couple of tough teams. Somehow they managed to take a win over Seattle. That was a brain fart on Seattle's end. I mean, it was just probably ultimately the game that'll cost you the 1 seed whenever we're looking at it. That's a must-win game for Seattle. But the defense has been pretty well for the Giants. I think if they can figure out the quarterback issue and hopefully get a couple of wide receivers, they could be an interesting team going forward. But until they have the offensive pieces, I don't know if I'd ever pick them as the favorite to win a division. So let's move on to the next one, Nate. Love this guy. Falcons at 4-11 going into Tampa Bay to face the Gronkaneers at 10-5. They're currently sitting in the 5 seed. I don't think they can move. I guess if the Rams win and the Bucks lose, they can fall back to 6. But whatever. It's the Falcons. It's the Falcons and it's the Bucks. Landon, will go to you.
Yeah, I got the Bucks winning this, and if they lose, it doesn't matter. Like, what can happen? You drop back a spot, and I think it'd help them because I think they played Washington and they'd lose. But that's for another day. The Buccaneers will win this game. I have nothing to say about it. They're better on paper. I got Buccaneers winning this one, 28-13.
Mess around the same for you?
Yeah, I don't know though. The Falcons have been playing pretty good ever since Raheem Morris took over.
This is awesome. Please take
they have the lights out, but they've been playing a lot better than they were before. But yeah, I think the Buccaneers take this game. I don't think it's going to be close. I think it'll be like a 24-10 game.
Yeah, I mean this. Come on, it's the Falcons.
Yeah.
This is going to be I am different from you folks in saying that I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. The Falcons' offense, for some reason, was only kind of slowed down by the Chiefs' defense last week, and that's like otherwise they're firepower. It's really all they are. They're score as many points as we can and just hope the defense is not on the field for long, and we'll just hope we can outscore the other team in that sense. They're like the one team. They're probably one of the only teams in the NFL that says, all right, let's not make a stop. Let's just have our offense win this game. It's just obviously 4-11. It's not working out too well for them. Their defense has been abysmal. But, I just don't know. That's funny. If only the backups were playing, that'd be fun. But they don't have anything locked up. I mean, they have a postseason spot locked up, but they don't have the 4 seed or the 5 seed locked up. They can fall back to 6. And I mean, I guess it doesn't really ultimately matter. It's all a matchup preference at that point. But I think if they fall back to number 6, they'd be facing the New Orleans Saints, and that's probably a team they don't want to face.
That's a losing situation there.
Yeah, they've been spanked by the Saints twice this season. I don't think they want to fall back. I think they'd rather take their chances with Washington. So ultimately, their starters will play. They'll play fine. It's the Bucks and it's the Falcons. So I mean, you can look at the records yourself and make the prediction. I mean, it's pretty black and white. So next game, please. Toilet bowl. The game that means literally nothing. The Raiders sitting at 7-8, man, they've been the most disappointing thing in my opinion. And the Broncos sitting at 5-10. This game is really important for draft reasons. Other than that, this game literally means nothing. Mess around. We'll start with you. Raiders, Broncos, where do you sit?
Yeah, like you said, this game, absolute nothing. The only thing about it is just draft status. So I think the Raiders find a way to finish at 8-8. The division game, it's going to be close. 31-34 Raiders.
If they manage to win this game, 3 consecutive 8-8 seasons for the Raiders. Congratulations on mediocrity. Landon, we'll turn it over to you. Raiders, Broncos.
These teams won't score 20 points each. It'll be like I literally have nothing to say. It's going to be 17-14 Raiders.
You know what? Forget it. I'm going to go with the Broncos. Why not? The Raiders have just let me down all season. I remember at a point they were sitting at what was the record? I know they only had 3 losses. I know that for a fact.
They were good. Like I legitimately thought they'd make a run.
I want to say they were 5-3, and at a point I said they were going to get ready to play the Chiefs at 5-3. I said, folks, I came on ASAP. I came on my own podcast, and I said, folks, they're going to lose this game to the Chiefs. And then they're going to win out the rest of the season. All right. Yeah. Forget you, Raiders. You really kind of made me look stupid on that one. Yeah, I said they're going to come win out, and then the next game they lose by 37 to the Falcons. Yeah, really did a great job of that, Raiders. Yeah, thanks for making me look good. I'm going with the Broncos because I hate you now. So when it comes down to it, both teams are just question marks. I mean, I trust the Raiders more on a consistency basis, but the Broncos have been very up and down. The Broncos have the superior defense. Can Drew Lock look good? Can Drew Lock have a decent game? I think he kind of knows that he may be playing for his job a little bit. Drew Lock's, especially if the Broncos are sitting in a decent draft position, and with 5 wins, they will be doing that. They should be sitting top 10, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe just outside the top 10.
Something like that.
It's going to be top 10 or just outside of it, which could be a decent spot for a quarterback in this upcoming draft. I know there's a couple names that are out there that are going to make it past the Lawrence and Field sweepstakes. So we'll see who's sitting on the board for the Broncos, but I'm going to go with the Broncos in this one. Let's be a little bit different. I think they're going to find a way to make something happen, at least from a defensive standpoint, and we'll see the Broncos finish out with a win on the season. So next game, please, Nate. Any day now. There we go. Oh, man. Just wow. The Chargers sitting at 6-9, the Chiefs at 14-1. Obviously, the Chiefs starters will not be playing in this game. The Chiefs have locked up the number 1 seed. The postseason will go through. So my pick for Vegas and Denver is a team. I think you're correct on that one. I think a team will win that game.
Can't lose that way, right?
If I could go to the sports book and go just bet, hey, give me 100 on just a team winning, I would definitely take those odds. But on to this game. Chargers 6-9, the Chiefs 14-1. Chargers somehow have 6 wins. Anthony Lynn likes to find new ways to lose every week. Arguably the rookie of the year and Justin Herbert will be playing. But other than that, they're missing a couple of pieces. The Chargers they have some players out. I don't remember who all is out off the top of my head, but I know they are missing some pieces on both sides of the ball. The Chiefs will obviously have both sides of the ball on the bench. It'll be a fun game to watch. Let's just say that. Mess around. We'll start with you. Chargers, Chiefs. Where are you at?
Yeah, I think even with the Chiefs with their backups, they're still going to win this game. Like you said, the Chargers find a way to lose every week, and they're going to find a way to lose this game too to the Chiefs backups. So 24-21 Chiefs.
Wow. Landon, we'll turn it over to you.
This hurts my fantasy team so bad. I had Patrick Mahomes as my starting quarterback and Travis Kelce as my tight end. But let's just look past that. The Chargers will find a way to lose. I don't know how in the situation they will, but trust me, there'll be a way. So I'm going to go with the Chiefs. Low scoring, 17-15.
I mean, if there's a team that you can trust to take a loss, it's the Chargers. Really,
the Chargers.
They're sitting at 6-9, but if you gave me a coin, it's between the Falcons and the Chargers every week. I'm taking. I'd almost trust the Jets more than I trust these guys to lose. I have to take the Chargers just because nobody on the Chiefs are playing. It's Chad Henne. When I'm looking at it, Chad Henne versus Justin Herbert, I'm going to take Justin Herbert. I think that's kind of obvious.
Right.
Yeah, the Chargers are just the offensive firepower. Yeah, I believe in it. But I mean, the defense is suspect. This Chargers team, they do find ways to lose. But I'm going to be realistic here. Whenever we're talking about the personnel that's on the field, there's no reason the Chargers lose this game. Like we've said, the Chiefs have nothing to play for. They literally won't even be playing, really. But they're just going to have some players out there just trying to look to have fun. But the Chargers are going to probably try to win this game, at least to save face a little bit. So I'll take the Chargers. Next slide, please. All right. I guess that's the end of the 4:00 games. And so let's get into a quick discussion real quick before we wrap things up here, folks. If you had an MVP vote, who are you giving it to? Obviously, Pat Mahomes has been in the conversation, Aaron Rodgers, Josh Allen. There's been other names thrown around. If we're not going to give it to a quarterback, obviously Derrick Henry's been named. Russell Wilson's been named at a point in this season. There's been all types of names thrown around for the MVP. Landon, I'll start with you. If you had an MVP vote today, who are you giving it to?
Asked me 2 weeks ago, and I would have said Patrick Mahomes, but he's had 2 weeks where he's let me down. So, and Aaron Rodgers has not. I'm just going to put it that way. It's between Aaron Rodgers and Josh Allen. I think we all know this. And Josh Allen had an insane game last week. So did Aaron Rodgers, but I'm going to take – gosh, I don't know. I'm going to take Aaron Rodgers just because, he's Aaron Rodgers. Josh Allen's young. He will have a chance. You know what? Hot take. Next year, Josh Allen MVP. I'm just going to go ahead and say that right now. Aaron Rodgers will win this year. We talked about co-MVPs a few weeks ago, and that was between Mahomes and Rodgers. So I'm gonna go with Rodgers here.
Goff. Get out of here. That makes me sick.
Mr. Perfect.
Ugh.
Yeah, done with Landon a few weeks ago. It said Mahomes and then Rodgers, but neither one of them's played well the last few weeks. I'm going to go with Josh Allen. With what he's done this year, just unbelievable. With his rushing yards, rushing touchdowns, and his passing touchdowns and yards combined. I think he pulled off the upset and wins the MVP.
If I had an MVP vote, I'm going for Josh Allen just because I don't like the Packers. But
I can't stand the Packers, but I got to say Aaron Rodgers.
I was going to say, but there's a reason why I don't have an MVP vote. If we're going to talk about who I'd really give it to based off of performance, an unbiased standpoint, I'm going Aaron Rodgers. I had Pat Mahomes as my MVP all throughout the season, and then he had that Dolphins game where he threw 3 picks. And now all of a sudden, all your arguments for, at least he has less turnovers, at least he has more yards, and everything just kind of fell out the window because he really went behind Aaron Rodgers on almost every single category after that Miami game. Which, to be fair, Miami an amazing defense whenever it comes down to it, an underrated defense at that. But you can't be throwing 3 picks and then fall behind Aaron Rodgers and still win the MVP. Exactly. Sorry, Aaron Rodgers has been a fire has been lit up underneath him. Freddie, get out of here. I don't want to hear your Packers takes. I really don't want to hear it. We know you're a Packers fan. Yeah, get out of here. Thanks for coming.
I'll be negative.
Freddie, why are you here? We're all sitting here talking about Aaron Rodgers, the MVP, and you're going to come on anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
I have something to say because you're being very disrespectful. Mess around, you being very disrespectful.
I'm being very disrespectful. I just said I was going to give the MVP to Aaron Rodgers.
I'm changing my prediction. Bears win 45-0. It's easy. Bears win 45-0.
Oh, Will, you changed it. You decided to go with Aaron Rodgers.
No, I said if I had a vote, I'm voting Allen, but the real MVP is Aaron Rodgers.
Well, as long as you know who the real MVP is.
I'm very aware.
And mess around, you think I'm going Josh Allen. Are you serious? 44 touchdowns this year for 6 interceptions. I mean, this dude has been the baddest man. I understand you're a Bears fan. I understand that this man put fear in your heart.
Keep in mind. Hold on. Keep in mind. So when the Giants beat the Seahawks, he was posting that all over his Facebook. So pick a team. When the Giants are winning, you're a Giants fan, but the Packers always win. I mean, we can't deny that. And you're
he came out on Real Talk and admitted to being a Packers fan.
Because the Giants are losing.
I enjoy watching the Giants, but I'm a Packers fan though. I just had to get over here and straighten y'all out and educate y'all.
Mm-hmm. Stay in the comments.
Been a Packers fan for 3 weeks, and then all of a sudden come out and educate.
That was a diehard.
Yeah. Okay. Whenever you can pick a team and like them for a full season, come on and correct me. Okay.
Exactly.
Get out of here. Thanks for the cameo. Really appreciate it. But yeah, I mean, Rodgers is the answer. I mean, Rodgers, I think, is the obvious answer when it comes to MVP. Granted, I'm saying if I had a vote, I'm voting Josh Allen just because I don't like Aaron Rodgers. And I don't care if that's disrespectful or not. I just don't like the guy. But whenever it comes down to it, Rodgers is still the MVP in my eyes. He's just been playing superior. He's just statistically, I mean, I don't know if it's an argument. So I know you didn't leave. I'll talk trash about your quarterback all day long. How long you want to stay here?
It's not you, it's Nate. Nate said he wanted to go, and I want to hear what Nate got to say. What you got to say, Nate?
First off, that was kind of a joke comment. I meant that as a joke. But now, since y'all brought me on, I have been saying this all season long. That it's either going to be Russell Wilson or it's going to be Josh Allen. Russell Wilson kind of let me down, and it was kind of might be a little bit of a homer pick because I have both these guys on my fantasy team, but. Patrick Mahomes, he's been keeping games all close all season long, ever since Carolina Panthers. Aaron
He
Rodgers,
should. He's the
He's
best.
done
Like
this.
he has the best weapons. He should keep it close. He's not the MVP.
Exactly. And you know what? That's the smartest thing you ever said since you become on this network.
Josh
That's
Allen
the
for
smartest
MVP.
thing.
Josh Allen.
Josh Allen. I'm going with Josh Allen.
Bears are going to
How?
win 112-0.
Because
Hey,
he's
I
done
mean,
this
if we're gonna be
every
honest, Josh
single
Allen's
year.
basically in the same situation as Aaron Rodgers. He has one great weapon, and everybody else sucks.
He's
No.
done this every single year. Where, if you put, he's done this every single year. Where there's that one game where it should be, a very good game and all this. He's done that this year too. Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He lost that. Aaron Rodgers with the Green Bay Packers lost that game. Only scored 10 points that game.
Listen. We're in the home stretch now, so you've got to play good every single week. The only reason I'm not taking Patrick Mahomes anymore is because he let the Falcons keep it close on him.
You should have
You know
took
what I mean?
Patrick Mahomes if they won that game.
Patrick
No.
Mahomes was the MVP every single week up until Miami. Let's be honest.
No.
Exactly.
Let's be honest.
Exactly.
Yo,
100%.
Agreed.
Stop.
Agreed.
Come on
Stop.
now.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you why Aaron Rodgers is the MVP. Just listen and hear this out.
We're all saying he is. Why are you
Listen,
arguing?
listen, man, I'm talking.
Nate, do you have the I Love the Packers banner? Go ahead, throw that up there and put
What
it.
about the Jaguars game?
But what I'm saying is that this offseason, the Packers drafted Aaron Rodgers' replacement. They came in and drafted a quarterback in the first round. You don't see that doing that in Russell Wilson. That's disrespectful. So Aaron Rodgers
Because
said,
Aaron
okay,
Rodgers is
I got a
88 years
chip
old.
on my shoulder. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna be the best quarterback each week out. And he done it. He put up the numbers. He got better numbers than Mahomes. Only thing that Mahomes leading him is in yards. He has like 700 more yards. But other than that, Rodgers had more touchdowns. One less interception, a higher
Were
kick.
you this passionate when Brett Favre was quarterback?
And guess what? He's
When the
number one in
Patriots
the
drafted Jimmy
NFC.
Garoppolo, did Tom Brady win MVP that season?
Period. Nate,
What did
put a
they name?
period on that. We're done here. Bye,
What did they
bye,
name?
Freddie.
All right.
We're done.
I'll be honest. You said that they didn't draft Russell Wilson's replacement or anything, but Aaron Rodgers also gets hurt every year. Had a down year last year, and is like 38 years old.
A down year last
Freddie,
year. Are you
Freddie,
kidding me?
Freddie.
No, go look at the stats. He had a down year last year.
Oh,
Oh
my
my
God.
Freddie,
No.
Freddie,
Hey,
Freddie,
Freddie, hold on, Freddie. Before you go in and talk stats with me about Aaron Rodgers, remember you've only been a Packers fan for 3 weeks.
Will.
Okay, so before you come out here and come say some stuff about
Will,
Aaron, before you
listen.
come out here and say some stuff about Aaron Rodgers, know your stuff.
Well, listen, you
Know
a
what you're
Bears
saying
fan.
before you come on here.
You wish your quarterback had an off year like Aaron Rodgers did last year. You wish
Bro,
you had a quarterback.
You are a Chiefs fan, Packers fan, Seahawks fan. Who's winning? Let's see. Who's winning? Washington football team fan.
Bills.
Freddie, it doesn't
Bill
matter. I
Will,
don't care.
you
I'm
wish
not
your
comparing my
quarterback-
quarterback to anybody. He had a down year for Aaron Rodgers standards, okay?
You wish your quarterback was
Exactly.
giving you 4,000 yards. You wish he gave you 26 touchdowns.
I'm
and
sure he
4
wished Aaron
interceptions.
Rodgers was his
You
quarterback.
wish your quarterback was doing that. Down year. Oh, please stop.
Apparently, I'm Freddie's number one enemy because I'm now his new rival for the last 2 weeks. Congratulations,
He did
Freddie.
that
It's
down
nice to finally be on the winning side of things, isn't it, bud?
Ooh.
Congratulations on
Oh.
finally picking a team that wins games other than the Lakers. All right, pick another team that's winning, and we'll see you. Hey, just so you know, the Tampa Bay Lightning won the Stanley Cup if you need a hockey team.
Right.
Before I leave, make sure you let the people know what's coming next week, my brother.
Freddie will hopefully not be on camera
Oh.
next week, and let's just get that out of the way. Yeah, but before we log off here, we are starting up. If you guys remember, we did the debates last year and ended up between me, Chris Brown, and Coach Cam in the finale, and ultimately Coach Cam taking the W in the triple threat finale. But we're making Coach Cam defend the crown this year. We're going right back into the debates now. Everybody now on the network has a matchup. Everybody is involved. It is going to be, I want to say there's 17 people involved in this debate. And so it's going to be real interesting. We're going to see who the true best debater is on the ASAP network. So we've got a couple of matchups coming up here soon. I know things kick off on Monday between myself and Trey Colas. We're having a rematch from the first time. I know that Tuesday, I want to say Tuesday, is that Landon, is your match Tuesday?
Yeah, me and Tim, man.
Tuesday will be Landon versus Sarge. They will be going up against each other on Tuesday.
8 Eastern.
What's that?
8 Eastern.
8 o'clock Eastern time. I don't know what time mine is yet. I think it's right after Real Talk, but we'll see about that.
Yeah,
Then
it is.
on Thursday night, we will be having Freddie, I Love the Packers Henderson, up against Jay Ness. He will be going up against them, and the winner for that will actually take on Coach Cam in the next round, which will be interesting. And then the finale for next week will be on Saturday between the brothers. The brothers are going up head-to-head. Ace and J Mac, both from the West Coast, will be going up against each other on Saturday. All the other debates have yet to be scheduled for a day, but they will be following up the following week. I know Mess Around is going to be going up against Brandon Herrera. We're going to see Nate the Great up against the Vic. There's a couple of matchups you need to get on there and see. So we will see as quick who the best debater is on the network. Not to mention there's another, I want to say, was there one or two other matchups? I know Chris Brown's going up against Con Man. We'll see that. For some reason, Freddie's back.
You said the best debater, so I thought you were telling me to come on.
Oh, your record's 0-1. That does not mean
never mind. It's not even worth it. You know what? It's not even worth it.
Mess around. Did he say the greatest debater? That's me, right? Like I came on.
Freddie.
Coach
Freddie,
Cam won, didn't he?
check your win column.
Did you win?
Right now,
Did you win last round?
You got like
Yeah.
the Oregon Ducks logo in your win column, buddy. It's just sitting here like that, but whole bunch of nothing on there. At least I have a dub. Okay, don't come in here to talk about you're the best debater. You didn't even win round one. See me in the finals, bud. Oh wait, you won't get there. You won't make it out of the first round. Let's all be honest.
I'm your judge on Monday, sir. So you better be respectful.
I ain't gonna be respectful for nothing. I don't care what. I'm gonna be honest with you, and I'm gonna win that debate, and you're not gonna win yours. So let's just get
Wait,
that.
Freddie,
out
who
of
are
the
you going against? I forgot.
way. Jay,
Champion round.
Jay,
I'm
the
gonna
guy
pick
who
apart.
almost knocked off Coach Cam in round one last time. Yeah, you don't. No,
Yeah, you don't want.
you couldn't beat Chris Brown, who got third in the finale. Okay,
No, I've run Chris
Okay,
Brown. I made
Brandon,
Chris Brown run.
you ran Chris Brown all the way to a 1-4 score. All right, but that's the end of the pick'em. So we are out of here. That's our predictions for week 17. We're gonna get out of here before Freddie goes full. I don't even know, dictator mode and really takes over the network. And let's get off of here. We'll catch you in the next one. So take it easy.
later.
All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making the plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're eyeing the court, the diamond.